Joe Biden with, Gavin Newsom, is of course doing his world tour and doing a really great job at it. In fact, he's so similar to Joe Biden, right? The Joe Biden thing worked, right? So why not just act like Joe Biden? When Gavin Newsom had an opportunity to play basketball with a bunch of Chinese kids, he wound up groping clobbering the children, groping them, smacking them in the behinds, and then like grabbing them and sniffing them. This is an incredible Joe Biden impression. Watch.
I got you.
Get off the children, you sick freak! What are you doing? What? Do you have kids? Like, that's not the way you treat a child. Maybe if it was your son, like if it was your son, I guess, maybe? That's some random little Chinese boy in China. Get off the children, you sick freak. Man, speaking of sick freaks, the guy who had to resign from his governorship, Democrats are great, really. He's great. Andrew Cuomo says weak Joe Biden will face Democrat primary ahead of 2024. Andrew Cuomo now turning on Joe Biden, another Democrat governor from a Democrat state, saying, this ain't it. This ain't it. Ladies and gentlemen, somebody who ran against Gavin Newsom in a recall election, a man who ran for president and recently endorsed Donald Trump, bowing out gracefully from the competition, a man who knows a lot about a great deal of things, and one of our favorites, Larry Elder, joins the program now. Larry, thank you so much for being on the program. We really appreciate it. I did want to get to the Gavin Newsom clip because, one, I'm really glad that you two didn't debate. He might have jumped on your back as well and started spanking you. That would have been terrifying. I would have said a prayer for you in church, but I'm very glad that didn't happen. Your thoughts, just off the top, on Gavin Newsom grabbing a little Chinese boy and spanking him?
Well, he fell down, rough dirt on it, got back in the game. Look, I wish he had debated me. I was very disappointed that the media didn't put pressure on him during the recall. The thing is all over now, and Gavin Newsom goes on Sean Hannity's show, and Sean says, why don't you debate Ron DeSantis? He goes, okay. Would have been nice if somebody like that had said, why don't you debate Larry Elder when it mattered? This is preseason baseball going into debating Ron DeSantis, nothing at stake. This was a big deal, the recall election, but nobody in the media pressured Gavin Newsom to debate me. Now, as for your analysis of Joe Biden and Kamala, look, here's the deal. If Joe Biden cannot fog up a mirror come November, the nominee is going to be Kamala Harris. I know you don't think so, Benny, but let me tell you why. The most loyal part of the Democratic base are Black people, and the majority of these voters are Black female, and they love Kamala Harris. I saw her numbers among Blacks over 70%, and it wasn't broken down by gender, so I'm sure she's even more popular among Black females. Why is it relevant? Their first primary in South Carolina, 60% of the Democrat voters in South Carolina are Black. And if Kamala Harris is drop kicked for some white dude like Gavin Newsom, these Black female voters will be livid. They won't be so livid, they'll vote Republican, they'll just sit home, they won't vote at all, thereby guaranteeing whoever it is that we nominate, it's going to be Trump, of course, will win. They cannot afford that. When who's a Democrat socialist? Bernie Sanders won the Nevada caucuses in 2020 for a brief shining moment, Benny. He was a front runner. What did James Clyburn do? He endorsed Joe Biden on the eve of the South Carolina primary and extracted a promise that his first nominee to the Supreme Court would be a Black female. His running mate is a Black female. And when for a time it appeared that Dianne Feinstein might not survive her term, Gavin Newsom said that I will replace her with a Black female. This is the year of the Black female for the identity party known as the Democrat Party, and they cannot afford to alienate them. So it's going to be Kamala Harris if Joe Biden can't make it to the finish line. Trust me.
Wow. Following your logic there, not Michelle Obama, Kamala Harris, you think?
The only way good that you pointed out. The only way you can drop kick Kamala Harris is A, she has to agree to be drop kicked. And secondly, she got to be replaced with an Oprah or a Michelle. Neither of them is insane enough to want the job. So no, they are stuck with her.
Wow.
Yep.
You just sent a chill. It's Halloween, Larry, but you just sent a chill down my spine saying that it might be Oprah.
Take it to the bank. And that's why I wrote this book called As Goes California, My Mission to Rescue the Golden State and Save the Nation. It's about what Gavin Newsom has done to California. California, as you know, is a one-party state, been a one-party state for decades. He set up a commission for reparations. He's a more climate change extremist than Joe Biden is, outlawing the sale of new gas cars by 2035, set up a commission to determine the wages of fast food workers. I can go on and on and on about all the brain dead stuff he's done, supporting soft on crime laws that allow you to steal up to $1,000 a day. And not just that, he supported something called Proposition 57, which lowered a bunch of categories from violent offenses to nonviolent offenses. Now, rape of an intoxicated victim is a nonviolent offense in California. I kid you not. Serial arson, a non-violent offense. Assault on a police officer, a non-violent offense based on a proposition that Gavin Newsom supported. I can go on and on and on. He is a left-wing loon. He makes Bernie Sanders seem almost like a centrist, but it doesn't matter because the media will circle the wagons around him as they're going to circle the wagon around Kamala Harris and talk about what a great job she's done. They're going to do a massive rehabilitation job on her, assuming she becomes the nominee.
Wow. So this trip to China, we've been postulating that this is Gavin Newsom's, stepping in. Xi won't meet with Biden, but he'll meet with Newsom. So you're saying that this is simply two communists having tea together, and that Gavin Newsom will not be the presidential candidate.
Well, he wants to be the candidate, but he can't announce it. Otherwise, he would have announced it by now because he'd have to shove aside Kamala Harris. He cannot do that. She has to go on her own. So he's going to stick around, assuming our side wins. He'll stick around for another 4 years and then run down the road. That's why he went to Israel. That's why he goes to China, to get his foreign policy bona fides. That's why he's doing all this stuff. And by the way, it's easier to do that than solve crime. Crime is up in many categories. Arrests are down. It's easier to deal with that than to deal with the homeless problem we have in California. 30% of the homeless are living in California, even though we're around 12 or 13% of the population. Our schools are near the bottom. The average price of a home in California, 175% above the national average. Easier to play basketball with a Chinese kid than to deal with these problems.
Yes. Now, you just brought up crime, this type of violent crime that you're discussing that is on the rise across America disproportionately hurts Black people. You're saying that that's not going to matter and that Black people are still going to show up and vote for Kamala and Joe?
Unfortunately, yes. I mean, look at the schools. Schools are near the bottom. 13 public high schools in Baltimore, 0% of the kids can do math at grade level. They're all located in the inner city. There are 53 government schools in Chicago, all located in the inner city. 0% of the kids can do math at grade level. Yet Democrats, like Leming, go in there and pull that lever for the Democratic Black voters, rather, like Lemmings, go in there and pull that lever for the Democratic Party. You tell me what that is. Look at the crime. The crime is hurting Black people and brown people more than anybody else. Accusing the police of engaging in systemic racism is causing them to pull back. It's called the Ferguson effect or the George Floyd effect. And as a result, all they're doing is answering radio calls. They're not being proactive. So there are bad guys in the streets who are preying against other innocent, law-abiding Black people, and still Black people pull that lever for the Democratic Party.